make your argument with regard to the Nike shoes. But if they're not introducing any evidence of Nike shoes, I don't think we need to hear an argument against the Nike shoes.
Can I ask what they mean by that? What they mean by nothing about Nike shoes? Nothing about the measurement of the foot.
Well, let's see what they say. I don't know. And does he know not to mention those things? Okay. All right.
Does he testify at all about the Mr. Robinson's foot size?
Okay. All right.
And Your Honor, Ms. Kwas is reminding me too. We also have the pictures of the guns. Now, Mr. Latham, he testified in the Daubert hearing that this was a very rare gun. He had to get it from the manufacturer. But what he failed to mention is this. That in 2020, when this murder happened, that X-Star model was being produced. It was widely available. In between the time of the shooting and his examination, the company ceased to exist. They ceased to be manufactured. And it is because of that reason that they were rare. So I'm concerned that he's going to get up there and testify and say, this is really rare. So the fact that you have one in a music video and one in a shooting, there's a greater chance it's the same. But it doesn't incorporate the fact that it had stopped being produced, which is why when he did the test years later, it was hard for him to be able to get. Also, the fact that he lacks the qualifications and methodology. He's never testified as a gun expert. Frankly, they had a gun expert on the stand the other day, and that should have been the one that was doing the comparative analysis to identify the gun. Is that everything?
That is different from what's in y'all's motion, because that has preserved your issue.
The expert is testified he cannot say that it is the same firearm. So our argument is only prejudicial, showing Mr. Robinson pictures of all of his firearms. He's not going to be able to testify when that video was shot.
Can I see is this the photo, or which is the photo that is being argued that shows multiple firearms?
I can go through them. Okay. There looks to be 3 firearms in that photo, 2 in that. And 3 in that. I think those are all from the music video. Yeah, it starts here.
Okay. All right, I'll hear a little bit from the state, and then I need to rule, and we need to bring this jury out. Okay. All right. And let me go ahead and rule on the motion to strike Mr. Latham as a witness. That will be denied for the reasons previously stated in my Daubert order, but with the new arguments made today that the issue about the victim's height at 5'10", now compared to the testimony of the medical examiner, would be confusing or is unreliable. I would deny it because that is obviously right for cross-examination, right for impeachment, and that goes more to the weight of the evidence than to the admissibility. Likewise, with the rarity or the alleged rarity of the firearm that Mr. Latham would testify to, understanding now, as we heard, I think, from one of the state's witnesses, that the company went out of business in 2021. Again, an area ripe for cross-examination, ripe.
It wasn't easy being a meathead. Now it is.
Meat for real meatheads. Yumbo.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house, no matter what condition it's in.
For those reasons and others stated in my order, the motion to strike Mr. Latham shall be denied. All right.
Or consider removing certain photographs that are unnecessary. The photograph on the left, there's repeats of the same one. Like, whether that's necessary to show the three guns, where it would just be the one on the right that's focused in. So the final refined argument would be to remove the portions of the photographs that are showing firearms that are not relevant to this. Actually, to draw that argument.
Okay. All right, thank you. Then are both sides, well, let's, And what is the evidence? Oh, the PowerPoint? And what exhibit number is that?
No objection to it being demonstrative. Do, however, object to it being admitted into evidence and being with the jury in the juror room, because, frankly, Your Honor, when the jury goes back there, they don't have the testimony of Dr. Piatek that says 5'9", 5'11", but they do have Mr. Latham reporting a height that we know to be inaccurate. So I'd ask the court at a maximum enter it as a demonstrative aid, not as a misleading exhibit.
All right, so let me understand, because I don't see this on the exhibit list, 10-0. Is this going to be used as a demonstrative aid during Mr. Latham's testimony, or is this an exhibit in evidence? Okay, well then if they're not stipulating to it, you'll have to lay the predicate to see how this comes in. Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, can we bring out the jury and continue with the trial? Yeah, let's let in anyone else who wants to come in. We have.
At 7 News Detroit, your voice matters. Watch weeknights at 5 and 6.
The real reason cops check your insurance before licenses. If you drive without insurance, cops can legally tow your car.
Jurors to fill in. OT Cray Ray 44. Y'all think he gonna beat it? Y'all answer that. I ain't gonna lie. Before yesterday, before that cop took the stand, before Lil Woody, the officer Woody got up there and act like he didn't know shit, I thought them boys was fried. This nigga damn near, boy, it made it seem like they was trying to say that this officer let Ksoo get away. If that was whoever the shooter that ran the opposite direction and jumped the fence, it almost seemed like they was trying to say that that officer let whoever that was get away.
My apologies for that
All right,
longer
I'm
than
shutting
normal
up.
delay.
Let's get to it.
We had to
Hit that
address
light.
some matters outside of your presence so that we could continue. We have done so, and now at this time we'll call upon the state to call its next witness.
Run the chat up.
Mr. Latham, please.
I ain't gonna lie, dog.
All right,
That's he
Mr.
gonna.
Latham, if you
I
come
think he
forward
gonna
and be
beat this
sworn.
even with his daddy telling. Rat ass nigga.
Please be sure to sit up close and speak loudly and clearly into the microphone.
May it please the court.
Yes.
Would you please state your name and spell it for the record?
My name is Jason Latham. Found the first spelling Jason, last name Latham.
And Mr. Latham, do you currently own and operate your own private business, Complete Digital Forensic Solutions?
I do.
And where is that company based out of?
Yes, sir. You
The company's
tapped
located
in.
Colorado.
The picture
And what
clear.
is your position at
Let
that
me know if the
company?
picture clear.
I am the owner, and I'm also a certified forensic video examiner, as well
You know
as
I'm using what I got.
the laboratory director, and I'm also an instructor.
And what type of work does
Bet.
CDFS?
As long as it's clear for you.
We specialize on image analysis and digital
Audio
multimedia
good?
evidence processing.
And can you tell the jury what formal education you've had?
I have a bachelor's of arts from Bethel College, Kansas, in history, psychology, and pre-medicine. I also have a master's of science in media forensics degree from the University of Colorado.
And in addition to that training, did you also complete an internship at the FBI Academy?
Yes, I did.
And what did that training cover?
That training covered some advanced image analysis techniques. I also learned reverse projection, photogrammetry, and other height determination techniques while I was out there.
Do you currently hold any certifications related to the field of digital forensic examinations?
Yes, I do.
And can you tell the jury what those certifications are?
I hold a certified forensic video examiner, and I also hold a certified forensic video analyst certifications.
And can you briefly describe what was required to get those certifications?
Those certifications require either a degree and 3 years on the job doing forensics, or without a degree, 5 years on the job training, over 180 hours of classroom training, as well as various practical exams, as well as written exams throughout this process. And for one of my certifications, I had to sit on a board where my work was reviewed by 3 other certified forensic video examiners to confirm my certification.
How many total hours would you estimate of training in the fields of digital forensics?
You know he's certified.
Over 1,500 hours.
And in your career, have you been qualified and accepted by courts as an expert in the field of digital or multimedia forensics?
Yes, I have.
Approximately how many times?
Approximately 16 times.
And does that...
What was that? What happened? Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, please, court.
Go ahead.
Does that include being accepted as an expert in the fields of digital and multimedia evidence, comparative analysis, content analysis, photogrammetry, terrestrial 3D laser scanning, among others?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
And in what states have you been accepted as an expert?
I've been accepted as an expert in California, excuse me, California, Nebraska, California, New Hampshire, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas. I think that's it.
Now, As a digital forensics expert, have you been asked to evaluate digital evidence? Do you charge for your services and your time?
Yes, I do.
And have you previously been hired to examine digital evidence in both criminal and civil cases?
I have.
And have you worked for both state agencies as well as defense?
I've worked for both sides. Yes.
Now, in 2021, were you hired by the state of Florida to conduct forensic examination of digital evidence related to the murder of Charles McCormick?
Yes, I was.
Your Honor, this time I would tender the witness to be able to give his opinion in the field of digital multimedia forensics.
All right, and any voir dire from Defendant Whitaker? Any voir dire from Defendant Robinson? Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Now, Mr. Latham, in 2021, you were hired by the state of Florida to conduct a forensic examination in this case?
Yes, I was.
And did that include a forensic video review of a dash cam video that recorded the murder?
Yes, it did.
And as well as the examination of the physical crime scene?
That is correct. Yes, I did.
And a forensic examination of 3 known individuals so that you could potentially determine whether or not any of them could be excluded from being the shooter captured on video?
Yes, that's correct.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Showing you a disc, which has been marked for identification as 10O, do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
And that disc contains a PowerPoint presentation containing images, videos, your analysis of this case.
That is correct.
Are those images and the analysis a fair and accurate representation of your work?
Yes, that's my work product from the analysis.
And would that assist you in your testimony?
Yes, it would.
Your Honor, based on that.
Auto retracting hose reel from Giraffe Tools. They even include a.
And on behalf of Mr. Robinson? Oh, let me back up, sorry. On behalf of Mr. Whitaker? On behalf of Mr. Robinson? All right, thank you. All right, 10-0 will be marked into evidence as number 248.
And Your Honor, may I publish?
Yes.
Mr. Latham, showing I'm showing you the current slide that's on the screen. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes, I do.
And can you briefly explain to the jury what we are looking at?
On the left hand of the screen, the K1 and Q1 individuals were from the video of the event of interest, the shooting. On the right hand side, we have K2, K3, and K4, which were the known individuals that were analyzed, and the scans of them were processed during this examination.
And at the beginning of this process, when you received the dash cam video, what was the first thing you did upon getting that actual video?
Yeah, one of the first things we do in our shop is when we receive evidence, we make a forensic working copy of that evidence. That is an exact copy of the original evidence, and we conduct all our work on the working copies of the evidence.
Now, as part of your analysis in this case, did you send 2 colleagues, Mark Johnson and Kip Stavru, down to Jacksonville to conduct some of the data collection that you needed for your analysis?
Yes, I did.
And did that examination in Jacksonville take place on November 10th of 2021?
Yes, it did.
And specifically, what type of data were you seeking to have collected?
We were seeking to have a 3D terrestrial laser scan of the crime scene, forensic photographs of the crime scene, and we also took drone footage of the crime scene, as well as we scanned 3 individuals in a correctional facility.
Can you explain what we're looking at in this photograph?
This is the crime scene that my team scanned, and we applied a grid to this scene as well for our references.
In this slide?
In this slide on the left-hand side, you can see these orange dots. Those are the positions that the laser scanner was positioned to actually scan the scene. And on the right is a photograph of the scene.
And this slide?
This is a summary of all the scan positions of the scene from the 3D terrestrial laser scanner.
And why was this data important to collect?
This data was important to collect because we needed an accurate dimensional analysis of the scene, and that way we could stitch the 2D video to the 3D data that we collected of the scene.
Can you explain what we are looking at in this slide, sir?
This is the setup that we use to scan the 3 individuals at the correctional facility.
And this slide.
As a positive control in this process, the team set up several identifiers on the wall, including those little square boxes with the weird looking circles and dots in them. Those are targets for the laser scanners. And then we also included a calibrated line on the wall for various heights, and this was confirmed with a calibrated laser measuring device.
And that line that device appears to be connected to, what line is that, the measurement?
The bottom of that black line is 6 foot.
And what are we looking at this slide?
We then had each of the individuals assume several poses, and they were photographed. And this is the photographs of those poses.
So this is for K2?
This is for K2, yes, sir.
And for K3, who is Leroy Whitaker?
Yes, sir.
And finally, K4, Dominic Barner?
That's correct.
Now, the equipment that was used to collect 3D laser scans of these individuals, is it extremely accurate?
It's very accurate.
And is it capable of collecting an accurate height measurement for those individuals?
Yes, it is possible.
And though that wasn't required for your analysis, did Mark Johnson, while he was conducting these scans, get a laser scanned report of the barefoot height for those known individuals?
Yes, it's my understanding he did.
And are the laser height measurements for those individuals consistent with your overall analysis in this case?
Yes, they are.
And this slide, does that represent laser measured height for the 3 known individuals?
Yes, those are the laser scans of the 3 individuals.
And on the left, that is K2 Hakeem Robinson?
That is correct.
And what is the height marked in that slide?
Based on this slide, it's approximately 6.03 feet.
All right, and to the right is that K3 and 4, both Leroy Whitaker and Dominic Barner?
That is correct.
All right, and what are their reported heights on this slide?
Mr. Whitaker is 5.62 feet, and Mr. Barner is 5.59 feet.
Now, because that's in a decimal form, is that a little bit different than, say, for example, for Mr. Whitaker? It says 5.6233 feet. Is that 5 feet 6 inches, or what does that equate to?
It's about, for K2, it's approximately 6 foot with a little bit extra. It's a fraction of a foot.
After collecting that data, did you also do what is called a camera match overlay as part of your analysis?
Yes, I did.
What is a camera match overlay?
Very simply, a camera match overlay is the process of taking the 2-dimensional video that was recorded at the scene and then taking the 3D data that we collected with the laser scanners and stitching those together. And we use some complicated geometry and mathematics to do that.
And why is that needed?
That's needed so we can add, once we do that, we're able to either generate models of scenes or objects that we see in the video, or we can introduce scaled models into the 3D data so we can better visualize and analyze the 2D video data.
Can you explain briefly what is contained in this slide?
Yes, one of the first processes in a camera match overlay is these surveillance systems generally have wide angle lenses. What that means is the light that comes in on the edge of the lens gets bent. If you look at the roof line on the original on the left, you can see that the roof is kind of has a little bend to it. That's called barrel distortion. So one of the first things we have to do is correct the lens aberrations. So when we apply the mathematics to the original image, we get the image on the right where straight lines of the roof are straight, the parallel lines of the poles are straight, and they're not bent because of the lens.
And the next slide.
Once that's the lens is corrected, on the left-hand side of the screen, we have the 3D scan data of the scene. and on the right side we have the corrected lens, corrected image of the video.
And in this slide.
Once the process is completed, the computer algorithm then places the 2D over the 3D based on the mathematics and geometry and produces a composite image with both of those overlaid.
And the next slide, which I believe is 18.
Correct. The little green crosshairs in this image, what I'm doing here is I'm taking fixed points in the video that I can see, like the example, a corner of the door, corner of one of the moldings. These are then picked in the video, and they're also selected within the 3D data. These are the points that the computer uses to apply the mathematics to stitch those two together and overlay them.
And then slide 19.
And this is the result of the 2D being overlaid on the 3D in a mathematical fashion.
And are these scanners accurate?
The laser scanner is very accurate at this distance.
And so slide 20, what does that reflect?
This is our positive control. We put a grid down on the pavement of a known quantity, and this was calibrated. This was confirmed by a calibrated laser measuring device. We can then use the scan because we know the distance of these squares is exactly 1 meter. We then can use this to determine the error rate of our analysis.
And slide 21, does that reflect that error rate?
That represents the error of the scanner, which is 0.001 meters.
And slide 22.
This is the final step in the process where we look at the calibration accuracy. How well did the computer match up to the known distances within the camera match overlay?
Now, did this process allow you to do what you referenced earlier, stitching that 2D video together along with that 3D kind of point cloud?
Yes, it did.
And were you able to visually depict both the shooter and Mr. McCormick, the victim in the video, together side by side? Similar.
Yes, I was.
I'm going to show you. I'll get to that second. This slide 23, which apparently I skipped.
Yes, this is. There are 3 factors that account for the accuracy and precision of this entire process. One is the accuracy of the scanner, which is very precise. The other is the accuracy of those green points I picked. And the last one is the accuracy of a known measurement, that square box on the ground. Add those all together, and the overall error rate of this process was 1.3426 inches.
And then slide 24.
These are examples. When we have the computer do this analysis, it produces a frame. It produces this overlay for every single frame of video that we provided to the system.
Now, getting back to the question I asked a moment ago regarding placing the 2 individuals, the shooter and the victim, side by side in a visual comparison, you were able to do that?
Yes, I was.
And showing you what is slide 26. Can you explain what we are looking at?
Yes, because of the, I'm going to call it a corridor of this walkway, both the individuals had to traverse the similar path. And because of the step up, the way their feet hit the ground on the step, they funneled through this area. And there were several frames where when we superimpose one individual over, because the scene didn't change, we then can see that they followed a very similar path.
Now, slide 27. The K1 height of 5 foot 10 inches. You did not conduct that analysis yourself, did you?
No, I did not.
And is that what was reported through the medical examiner's report?
That was a report I received from the medical examiner, yes.
Now, regardless of that, looking at these 2 individuals together, were you able to form any opinion as to how comparatively their heights, the shooter to the victim in this case, how they compare?
Yes, I was.
And what was that opinion?
It was my opinion, based on this side-by-side, is that the K1 shooter was at least as tall as the K1 individual.
And Q1 was the shooter?
Q1 is the shooter, yes.
Now, as part of your analysis in this case, was a 3D kinematic model also created of the shooter that is captured on that dash cam video?
Yes, it was.
And who created that model?
Mr. Mark Johnson created that model.
Did you participate and collaborate with Mr. Johnson during during the creation of that 3D kinematic model?
The creation of that model was at my direction, command, and control.
And did you review that work?
Yes, I did.
And going to the next slide, which is slide 29, can you explain what this slide depicts in the creation of that 3D kinematic model?
After the camera match overlay, the computer produces a frame for each, produces an image for each frame of video. The kinematic model is then articulated. The joints are moved to overlay the model over each frame of video. And this is, in this case, it was conducted over 28 individual frames as the individual moved away from the camera in perspective.
And I'm going to go to the next series of slides, starting with number 30. What is this?
This is a result of the kinematic model analysis.
And then starting with slide 32, is this the first frame of the 28 total frames that were used?
It is.
And can you also explain to the jury kind of how scaling works and why the 28 frames were important in this case?
Yes. As an object moves away from the camera, it's going to get smaller. As it comes closer to the camera, it's going to get larger. So the model, the kinematic model, is generated not just on one image. We use multiple images as that object, in this case a person, is moving away from the camera. That allows us to make sure that the scale is consistent in the 3D environment throughout the placement of the model.
And I'm going to go quickly through the next series of slides. If you need me to stop, just let me know. 33, 34, 35, and quicker. Are these essentially just the 28 still?
Yeah, this is the way we confirm that the model matches the object that we're trying to model in the 3D point cloud.
Once that kinematic model was created, were you able to compare that model to the 3D laser scan of the three known individuals in this case, K2, Hakeem Robinson, K3, Leroy Whitaker, and K4, Dominic Varner?
That was correct.
And can you explain to the juries what we're looking at in slide 62?
Yes.
61?
The top of the chart, those are the photographs of K2. And at the bottom of the chart, those are the laser scans of K2.
Then slide 62.
And what I've done here is the bottom, again, the top is the photo of the individual. On the bottom, I have overlaid the kinematic model over the scan of the K2 individual in several articulated positions. Simply, we had them hold several poses so we could clearly see the joints of that individual and then overlay the kinematic model into those same poses and positions at the joint locations.
And 63.
Same process was applied to K3 and
them niggas
K4.
going
The
to
top
jail.
is the photograph, the bottom is the laser scan, and then we overlay the kinematic model onto the laser scan in the various poses.
And then we're on slide 65. Is that K4, Dominic Varner?
Same process for K4, photo, laser scan, and then overlay of the kinematic model.
Little short butterball ass nigga.
What are we looking at in slide 67?
These are the scans of the three individuals, side by side, on scale.
Slide 68.
This is taking the scan of K2 and placing that individual at scale into the 3D point cloud data.
Slide 69.
This is the same with K3 placed into the scene at scale.
And slide 70.
Same for K4.
Slide 71, is that just a composite showing K2, 3, and 4 to scale?
This is a summary showing all the individuals.
And slide 72.
Slide 72 is a single frame of video where the questioned individual is seen stepping up onto the platform.
Slide 73.
This is the relationship of Q1 in the video to K2, the scan of K2.
K2 would be Hakeem Robinson.
That is correct.
Slide 74.
Same. On the left is the Q1, the shooter, and on the right is K3.
And then slide 75.
Same for K4.
Slide 76.
Here we have the scan of K2 side by side at scale with the Q1 shooter.
Slide 77.
Same, this is the Q1 shooter at scale alongside K3.
Slide 78.
Same with K4.
And slide 79 is just a summary of those three previous.
Summary of the three side by side.
What are we looking at in slide 80?
This is kind of a composite summary of how we got here, showing the three-dimensional scan with the models of K2, 3, and 4. And on the bottom is the relationship to the 2D video of the Q1 shooter.
Slide 81.
We then introduced the kinematic model. We stood the kinematic model up in erect position, and then at scale positioned it into the camera match overlay data.
Slide 82.
In this slide, it is the at scale, the Q1, the shooter, the kinematic model of Q1, and the scan of K2.
And K2 again is Hakeem Robinson.
Mr. Hakeem Robinson, yes.
Slide 83.
We have the video of Q1, the shooter, the kinematic model stood up of the Q1 shooter, and the model of K3.
And that's Leroy Whitaker, K3.
Correct.
All right, and then K4, Dominic Barner.
Same as the other two.
And slide 85.
Again, at the top, we have the model, we have the video of Q1, and we have the model of Q1, and then we have a composite summary of all the previous analysis on one slide.
Were you able to, based on this data and analysis, come to any conclusions regarding whether any of the known individuals could be excluded from being the shooter captured on video?
Yes, I did.
And using slide 86, can you tell the jury what your conclusions were?
Yes, it's my professional opinion based on my training and experience and the results of the body morphology analysis that K3, Leroy Whitaker, and K2, K4 could be eliminated as a possible candidate for the identity of Q1, the shooter.
So just to be very clear, K3, Leroy Whitaker, and K4, Dominic Barner excluded?
Are excluded as possible candidates for the identity of the shooter Q1.
What about K2, Hakeem Robinson? Could he be excluded?
K2 could not be excluded as a possible candidate as the shooter Q1.
Now, in addition to this analysis, were you also asked to do a comparative analysis between firearms?
Yes, I was.
And was that specifically the firearm that was captured on the dash cam video by the shooter, as well as a firearm in a music video?
That's correct.
And did you get a copy of the music video, in this case from the state?
Say that again, sir.
Sorry. Were you provided with a copy of the music videos?
Yes, I was.
In addition to the dash cam video?
That's correct.
Now, after visually reviewing the music video, did you do some research in an attempt to identify a potential match for the make and model of the firearm?
Yes, I did. And
were you able to identify a potential match?
Yes, I was able to identify a potential match for that weapon.
Right. What did you identify?
That was an XTAR, spelled EXTAR, EXP 556 MK1 with a stainless steel barrel.
Going to slide 88. What is that?
That is item 4, which was a music video that was sent to me as evidence.
And slide 89.
This is our item 5, which again was a music video that was sent to my office as evidence.
And are these the music videos that you were referring to in terms of doing a comparative analysis with that firearm?
Yes, they are.
Slide 90.
These are photographs. I was able to acquire a known MK1 weapon from a manufacturer, and these are the forensic photographs of that weapon.
And that was the weapon you identified as a potential match.
This is the weapon identified as a potential match at this point.
All right. Slide 91, what are we looking at?
This is a summary of all the question and items. On the left, we have the Q1 shooter holding a weapon. The Q2 is, the question 2 is the weapon carried by that individual. So Q1 is the individual, Q2 is the item, the weapon in the hands of that individual.
Oh, them niggas out of here.
Q3 is the weapon that was observed in the item 4 video.
He cooked.
And Q4 is the weapon that was identified is in the, the Q4 was the weapon identified also in item 5 video.
Cook.
And again, those were carried by K2, which is a key officer, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Slide 93, can you explain what we're looking at?
One of the first steps I do in the comparative analysis is first, we always work on the question images or objects first. So in this case, I'm taking the weapon in the hands of this individual and I'm clarifying it. I am applying specific filters and techniques to better resolve this weapon in the hand so I can better understand its construction and also to assess if there are any anomalies within the video that would impair me from doing a comparison. Not one was carrying was isolated and clarified to better resolve it.
The same for slide 95?
That's correct.
So you did that for a series of images?
On all the frames where it was appropriate and I was able to get reliable data from the clarification, I used all those frames in the analysis, yes.
Slide 97.
Again, this is from the item 4 video. This is the weapon depicted in that video.
Slide 98.
Again, from item 4 video, on the right, on the left, we have the original, and on the right, we have the clarified version.
Slide 99.
From item 4 again, left is the original, right is the clarified.
And 100.
Same as before. Same as before. And same as before.
And slide 104.
On the left, we have the original frame of the frame of video from item 5, and on the right, we have the clarified version.
Slide 106.
These are the clarified images that were taken in my laboratory of the known XStar MK1 weapon.
And then can you explain the process you went through, starting with slide 108, to do that comparative analysis?
Okay. Once I've clarified and identified the object, in this case a weapon that was in the original video, and it's been clarified, I then went and did some search to try to identify a known weapon. And then this known weapon that I acquired was photographed. The red arrows, the image on the left is from the Q3 video. The image on the right is the known weapon. The red arrows indicate areas of consistency or similarity between the two objects. And as you can see, there's quite a few in these two images between the known and the question image.
Slide 109.
Again, this is the same process of taking the image from the video and comparing it to the real world object.
110.
Same as before. On the left is the video images of the weapon, and on the right is the known weapon.
And those are all points of comparison.
Those are all points of comparisons or similarities.
111.
Same as before.
And then 112.
Same as before.
And 113.
And this is the front of the weapon and the barrel shroud, same as before.
And slide 115.
This process is then repeated with the Q4 video. The weapon in that video was isolated and compared to the known item.
All right, so what are we looking at in slide 117?
This is where the Q2, the weapon in the video of the events of interest, the shooting, was compared to the known weapon.
118.
These are additional frames of video where the weapon was isolated and clarified and were compared to the known weapon. Again, the arrows represent the points of comparison or similarity between the two objects.
119.
Same with 2 different frames of video.
So from all of these different frames, you're looking at the front, the sides of the weapon, the back.
Yes.
And then starting with 121.
These are a series of frames where I applied a different filter to better resolve the areas of contrast. Contrast is the difference between light and dark in a video or an image. Because of the lighting conditions in here at the scene when it was captured by the video, I needed to do a different set of analysis to evaluate the barrel of the weapon.
And based on that work, you explain 122.
Yes. Q2 again is the weapon from the video of the event of interest, which was the shooting. And then Q3 and Q4 are the weapons that were depicted in the music videos. And I'm comparing the barrel, particularly that the barrel in the Q3 and Q4 videos, there was a shine to it. That's typically consistent with a chromed barrel. And then that was compared to the Q2, which again, we saw a bright area of contrast by the end of the weapon that was consistent with the Q3 and Q4 shiny areas on the barrel.
And 123.
Again, 3 additional frames on the left, same process was done to compare against the 2 music videos.
After doing that examination for basically all sides of the firearm, were you able to reach any opinions, in this case regarding that comparative analysis between the firearm in the dash cam video held by the shooter and the firearms depicted in these music videos?
Yes, I was.
And you explain that opinion, slide 125.
Yeah, 125, this is kind of the round robin summary. The known weapon, K6, is in the middle, and then it's compared to Q3, which is one of the music videos on the left. It was compared to Q4, which is the weapon depicted in one of the videos on the right. And then Q2 on the bottom was the weapon that was identified in the video of the actual shooting. It is my professional opinion based on my training experience and the results of the comparative analysis that the question weapon in the video of the event of interest, the shooting, and the question weapon in both of the music videos as compared to the known weapon produced a identification with a strong source of a strong strength of a common source that the question weapon in all 3 videos was an XTAR EXP 556 MK1 with a stainless steel barrel or a chrome barrel.
I think you have no further questions.
All right, thank you. From Defendant Whitaker, any cross? All right, from Defendant Robinson, any cross? Okay, let me see court reporter and counsel at sidebar. And we're going to take a little bit of an early lunch recess at this time. And I'm going to ask you to leave your notepads on your seats. And we will lock them, secure them, and return them to you when we reconvene. As you know, during lunch recess, you can separate and go about your personal affairs. You can eat lunch